your son is 2 years old right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
My
Wow.
God. I know. You blink and it's 2 years. And it took us so long to have him that it was like, I felt like that journey, now looking back, feels like a blink, but it wasn't. It was a very long journey to get there.
Well, and that's why I had to, like, I reached out to you when you you wrote that article for the Huffington Post. And I'm like, what is it? 1 in 3 women have endometriosis.
100%.
But who talks about it? Who goes around talking about any of that, right?
No one.
Also, we're not educated on it as we're
That's right.
growing up, like in our teens and our
That's
early
right.
20s. Like, you're just told like, oh, your period's supposed to be like this horrendous thing every month. Yeah.
It's
It's normal, right?
so sad how we don't talk about it. That when I wrote the article and HuffPost was like, we want to publish this story, I was like, please do.
Yeah.
It's not even a vanity thing. It's like, it's an informative, like, people need to know about this.
Yeah.
Because I feel bad for the 13-year-old that is currently like, I have a bad period.
Yeah.
And that mom is just like, well, I grew up with one. It's just hereditary. No, because that's what I was told.
Yes.
Well, mom had a bad period.
Yes.
My aunt had a really bad period. And I was like, oh, wow. It's not normal that we're 7 days screaming in pain.
Yes.
And not knowing why and just assuming. So I was thrown on birth control really young, literally like 16 years old. Like, just doctor was like, yeah, bad period, birth control. And I was like, okay. That's the answer because a doctor told me.
Yeah.
So
and for me, it's like I tried that and birth control for some reason, like endometriosis, all of that stuff is like your hormones. And the pill was
Did it make you bonkers?
Oh my God. When I tell you, I was like, why am I?
No, that was my sister.
Like emotional. Everything made me emotional. Waking up made me, like I was just crying over nothing. And then I was crying because I didn't know why I was crying. And it was just, and they're like, they kept trying to put me on a different form.
No, nothing would work.
Yeah, finally the doctor was like, this is the lowest dose birth, like that is on the market.
Yes.
And it still was, I'm so sensitive that I was like, I can't
And that's the thing. I mean, we don't have to talk about endo the whole time, but we should say this.
Yeah, this is the endometriosis podcast.
We should just do a whole separate, because there's so much, but not every person with endometriosis has the same symptoms. That's what kills me. It's like, in my long journey, there has been so many doctors that I met with that was like, well, you don't have endo belly.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
And so you don't have endometriosis. I'm like, no, that's not true. Oh, you're not, like you said, birth control drove you crazy. I saw a doctor that was like, birth control helped you. You definitely don't have endo, because people with endo go crazy on birth control. And I was like, what? My sister was crazy on birth control. She felt an emotional wreck, but she doesn't have endo, we don't think.
Wow.
And she's, well into her 30s. We think it would have came up by now.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's so different for everyone, what they're feeling.
Yeah.
So to just acknowledge, what someone's feeling. And like you said, a normal period is where to start. That's how we have to start. Normal period, and then we go from there.
Yes.
An abnormal period should immediately be like, oh God, this might be endo.
Right. But you're told, I was told, like, it's just, this sucks. This is just the part of being a woman, and it sucks, and you're going to have to deal with it once a month.
Yes.
That was literally the message I got. And
I had doctors who said to me, get pregnant. And I said, why? They're like, if you get pregnant, the endo won't grow.
Right. I was told the same
Reason
thing.
to have a child.
Yes.
What?
I know.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. And like, then
Could
there's
be
all
true,
this
but
information
crazy.
that, if you get a hysterectomy, that'll just cure all your problems too. I was
Yes.
told that at 29 by a doctor. We should just, if you don't want kids, we should just do a hysterectomy. And I was like,
Blows
are these
my
the
mind.
options?
Right, blows my mind.
Yeah.
At 29, I think I sat there with my husband and we were like, okay, we were just getting married. And I thought maybe I should do IVF because I wanted to freeze my eggs. I'm that girl. I'm like, insurance policy? Oh, sign me up.
Heck yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's just me. Because I was like, I think I want a child.
You have the option.
It's there.
Yeah.
It's available. My family was like, what is wrong with you? Because, I come from an old school Italian family where they're like, so is something wrong with his sperm? Like, why are you doing this?
Oh, wow.
And I was like, no, I just want to like freeze my eggs. And it never worked.
Okay.
It just never worked. And that should have been assigned to the medicines. Us endo girls are sensitive inside.
100%.
Things bother us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I didn't know I had it until 7 years later. It was crazy. But that for sure threw me because it was just the amount of medicine, you're supposed to produce that many more eggs. And that's not what happened.
Yeah.
The amount of medicine, and then my body was like shut down.
Yes.
I'm not doing anything.
Right.
So it was a trip and a journey. But I will say that like people with endo, no one story looks the same. But there's always one same through line, which is I didn't have a great period.
Right.
That's always the through line.
Okay.
Somewhere. It's just, it blows my mind.
Yeah. You brought up a trip and a journey. I know you just got back from where? South Carolina, North Carolina?
God, yeah.
Where were you?
I had to stare at you being like, where was I?
Yeah. I'm like, I'm stalking you on the internet. I know where you were.
Oh my God. I was in South Carolina, and then 2 weeks before that I was in North Carolina. I did the Carolinas. It was fun. And I got to, of course, perform. I was there performing. And it was great because you go to different cities and you tour, and you never know if your material is going to land the same in every city.
Yeah.
And that's always a treat.
That's a great point to bring up, because like Italian bread is, I mean, it totally resonates. My mom and I watched it. My mother loved it.
I love it.
Italian, right?
I love it. Yeah.
But it's so authentic. It's so real. It's so relatable, at least for
Italians.
Right. And so that is a great, notion to like, how is it received in different cities, different states? Because you're basically your own national tour right now.
I'm on my own national tour, which I kind of love, because it's, it's mine, and it's sort of in our world that I get to meet all these people, and I get to do this thing. And you're right. When I first started, I was like, will people get Italians? I mean, we for sure make fun of them through mafia movies and all that. But that's not how I grew up. Right. I grew up much more real and much more, I would say, not the stereotype. But there is a stereotype to Italians. And the one thing I learned was that no matter what I said on stage, whether it was Italian, Irish, German, no matter what was coming out of my mouth, family was family. And every person in the audience, my tour years ago when I first started, the show's very different now, but years ago when I first started, I would literally sell tickets to only Italians. And I was like, well, that makes sense. Yeah. I'm new.
And you had a lot of famous Italian actors helping promote.
That would literally promote it and be like, we love this girl, which was awesome, because it was a true, and it still is, a heartfelt, true story of just family life. It wasn't so much that I was digging into the, sexual things of Italians and my sexual life. It wasn't like that. It was really family friendly. So people gravitated towards it. And then as I started to tour different cities and around the country, no one in the audience was Italian. And the reason I knew that is because I started to do a poll, and I kept it in my comedy special because I thought it was so funny. I'd be like, who's Italian? And no one would clap. And I'm like, oh my God, okay. So I'm like, let's do the numbers. 100%. Yeah. No one would clap. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, 50%, they would start to clap. And then 100% in the audience would roar. And I'm like, oh my God, no one in here is Italian. And it's because people are gravitating towards Italians because we're funny.
Characters.
Let's just be honest. We're characters.
Yeah.
But also too, it was a family thing. Yeah. And, I'd look out in the audience, and still, even this past weekend, in the audience was like an 80-year-old grandma, her daughter in her 50s, and their daughter in their 20s, and the granddaughter in the 20s. So it was like generational. And every now and then I'll look in the audience, and there's like an 8-year-old, and I'm like, oh boy, hope I don't say anything. I have to go through the show real quick. I'm like, all right, I'm going to take that out. But it's really true that the generational impact is what I wanted, because that's how I grew up. I grew up in a kitchen with mom and grandma and my sister, and we were all that, that whole generational spectrum. So I wanted that to hit home.
Yeah, and so the show's called Italian Bread.
Yes.
And it's on Amazon Prime. It's on Apple TV.
Yes.
But this has been more than a decade in the making.
Yeah, I started 10 years ago, I would say, doing a version of stand-up, because I don't consider myself a stand-up comedian at all. What they do is hard and very different. I always said I consider myself a storyteller. I love, and I grew up on the John Leguizamo shows, the Lily Tomlin, the Bette Midler extravaganza one-person shows. Like, to me, it's a theatrical spectacle, or I should say experience. Right. And it didn't start out that way, because I wanted it to be, but I didn't have the tools. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, you know me, I grew up in theater. I grew up with someone handing me a script.
And for people who don't know, we met when we were 18. I remember sitting next to you at my dressing table for Chorus Line. Do you remember this?
Yes, I do.
And your husband, Tom, would come visit as we were getting our
we just started dating.
How cute, right?
We just started dating.
It's adorable.
Oh my God.
But that, like, my earliest memory with you is us getting ready for a Chorus Line backstage with our mirrors right next to each other.
That's right.
Teaching another male dancer how to apply. We were like a mascara or something. I remember he brought his mom's stuff in, and he's like, what do I do with this?
God. I have a vivid memory of that too.
Yes. And I remember you taught me, you had an elephant at the table there was a little elephant. And you taught me, because you were like, aren't you Italian? Like, and I'm like, yeah, I'm half Italian. I'm half Irish. I'm like, what do you mean?
Well, where's your elephant? Wait. Speaking of my elephant.
Are you wearing an elephant?
She's right here.
Stop.
Yes.
You had a little elephant at the dressing room table.
I did.
And you taught me like about good luck and what it means and just good fortune.
God.
And I don't know why. I never forgot that.
That is so funny. Like, so my grandmother taught me about elephants, and she would walk into like a room, and if someone, because people buy elephants all day long.
Yeah.
And they really don't know the meaning, but she would walk into a room and she would make the tusk face the door. Always has to face the door. And so she used to get mad at me, and she used to buy them for me in my room, and then I'd clean my room and put them back, and she'd be like, face the door.
Right.
It's good luck. And I'm like, oh, okay. So now I'm like such a stickler, and I wear my elephant. Grandma, I'm wearing it.
Yes.
But we grew up in theater. Right. So when like we were handed a script. Yeah, I know how to memorize lines. I know how to interpret a character. I know how to do that. But I don't know if I know how to create my own world from scratch. And that to me was a learning process. So I would do 20 minutes in a comedy club against other comedians.
What was that like to get up and stand up like that? I mean, because we do improv in theater and there's classes and stuff. And that's good training, especially when someone forgets a line on stage, right?
It's awesome.
To help us navigate and get back on track.
It's awesome.
But when you're doing stand up, what was that like?
So I think it's awful. Like I'm nauseous. Actually, I'm getting hot thinking about it.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, yes, I had my little like notebook of like jokes.
Yeah.
But I love to embody a story.
Right.
And you know, it's really hard to do that in 10 minutes. And the audience in a comedy house is structured, and also their brain is wired for joke.
Yes.
And that's not what I do. And it doesn't mean it's bad or good. It's just different. So for me, I was like, okay, Candice, get to the joke quicker. Keep the audience. Don't lose them. You know, in theater, we want to sit in the silence.
Right.
I want you to feel my awkward, you know, grandma or crazy grandma having an awkward moment in the silence. That doesn't work in a comedy house when you're jumping in and out every 10 minutes. So I had to find the funny quickly. And that's what that taught me with the characters. Get to the funny. And then I was able to scale back and then go, okay, now I'm going to tell a story. All right, let's do 30 minutes in a cabaret setting.
Wow.
Incorporate the music. And so I built it slowly. So the first, honestly, 3 to 5 years was me still like figuring it out.
I know. And it's so much work, like internally, externally, right? And I think people, they just see the final product. But I understand, like, I know what goes into it. So I want you to talk about that. Like, because it's so, like, you really put everything into this. And you can tell in the final product.
Oh, gosh, thank you. My mom is in the back of the theater in the comedy special that we taped, and she still hides her face because she's just nervous. Like, because she's like, you're up there alone.
Yeah.
All these years, I'm like, I've always been up there alone. And that's something, too, that, like, as a theater person, growing up in theater, doing, you know, a musical with 30 people.
Yeah.
If you want to breathe for a minute, you can.
You can take a beat. Yeah.
You can take that beat. Probably no one's staring at you if you just want to check out. And you can check out in a one-person show, but it's a different kind of check out. And if you drop a line, it's a different kind of pickup.
Right.
You know? Yeah. And that's something that I had to figure out along the way. I used to joke, and I don't joke anymore because my husband doesn't find it funny anymore. But I used to be like, you know, in rehearsals with myself, and he honestly was my mirror. Yeah. Because I'm like, I'm not hiring a director right now because you know my breaths. I know, you know, how I'm going to tell the story. You know me. Sit there and like, I literally just forced him, handcuffed him, poor guy. And he was like, great. And then I'd say this joke where I'd be like, whose line is it? And we'd laugh because it's always my line. Your line. Yeah. And he'd be like, it's dad's. I'm like, oh, right. Yeah. Oh, it's sister's. I'm like, yeah, you know, but it's not funny anymore because, you know, we're way past that. But it's like that energy of just you're keeping the ball up the whole time. It's really difficult in the beginning for me to learn it. And I'm also a bit of a perfectionist. There's many of times in my journey that a producer or two have come forward and be like, we want to produce your show. Go ahead. Here's 10 performances. And I was like, it's not ready. Yeah. And it wasn't that I didn't want to do it. I love performing. I love this, but I wanted to make sure that I knew how to do the thing I wanted to do, which is not something you can train for. This is a really specific muscle. Yeah. And going and gelling from character to character seems easy. Because honestly, I've seen other people do it before I tried, and I was like, I could do that. And I was like, oh, wait. Yeah. Wait. Keep the story going, go from mom to dad to sister to grandma. It's very like, it's a whole muscle that I had to really use and work and work and work. So thank you for noticing that, because I don't think people get it. And I'm like, it's okay. I want you to enjoy the show. I want you to be like, I feel like there's 5 people up there with her. That's the goal. But it took some time.
Because, and you embody your family.
Yeah.
Incredible. I mean, it's like authentic. It's real. You're not making up these characters.
No,
like they're
nuts.
Real, you lived people. This. Yeah.
They are nuts. And if you meet them in real life, you're like, oh, wow, she's literally just impersonating them. Like, that's them.
And how does your family feel about it? Like, what was their reaction when they saw like the final?
The final is the Italian proud.
Yeah.
Of like, look what she did.
But as you told them like what you were starting, there, lots of speculation.
Like the first
lots
year,
of criticism.
The first 2 years, my mom was like, well, you're not auditioning for Broadway. Wasn't that the goal? Like she was so confused.
Right.
And I was like, I did, but it didn't feel authentic to me at that. I know that sounds crazy, but it didn't. It just... And also, too, you're auditioning, and I was always getting down to the final, and then it was the pants aren't long enough. You're not tall enough. I was like, I had a moment of like, I think I want to try this. And I also just really fell in love with like the Whoopi Goldberg one-woman shows, and I just was like, I love this. And so Mom in the beginning was like, what are you doing?
Well, it's scary. And that's the thing is I found it, I love watching people, especially people that I know, make that pivot. And say, I'm going to do this thing. Yeah. And it's because, yes, everyone around you is going to be crazy. like, it's almost like you need to hold their hand too. And it's like, you're the one walking through this decision.
You did the same thing.
Yes, exactly.
So let's all hold hands.
I know. I'm like, I can't baby you through that. Like, you got to just let me do my thing.
Yes.
Because not everyone knows how to jump. And how to say, you know what, pivot and go and leap. And you did that, and it's like you put the work in for years and years and years because people around you are going to want to see like, well, where's the instant success? Oh, are you going to go back? Oh, you're going to do that. You're going to go back, right? And it's like, I didn't jump with a safety net. I just did it, and I watched you do it, and I was like, so proud of you.
Thank you. I'm so proud of you too, because you did the same freaking thing, right? You're right. There's no safety net.
Yeah.
And producing your own material, whether it's digital, live, whatever, it is a job in itself. It's the other hat. And I would honestly, I make that joke when I walk into a theater, because when you walk into a theater, if you're producing your own content in your own production, who are they coming to with the answers? I'm like, oh, that's me. Yeah. And I know there's 57 gels in this particular theater we're in. I know that I need FL and F, and they're looking at me like, aren't you the comedian? I'm like, well, and I have to like be like, well, yes, but I'm also a storyteller, and I also am producing this, and I'm like having to like, or like you said, hold everyone's hand through the process.
Yes.
Which I kind of, at this point, don't mind, because I'm like, you know what, it's okay.
Well, I think it just takes a while for people to then see like, oh, like you did it. Yeah. Now they've been able to watch and
it's real,
understand. And it's like, oh, I see what she did there. Yeah. Right. Yeah. But not everyone is, I don't know, has the balls to just go for it.
Maybe there was lots of times where I was like, I'm done. You go to, not every theater in the beginning sold for me.
Yeah.
I'm not a viral sensation sort of thing that has a zillion followers.
Also, viral is such like a flash in the pan, right? It's just like, that's not a long-term.
I don't know. This world today is so funny to me.
Yeah.
That how we're all telling our lives in a phone and and I'm just such a people person where I'm like, please come to my theater and sit with me and let's tell stories. And I just want to, I hug 600 people after every show. My husband's like,
because it's like they're visiting your house. The theater is your house.
That's right. Yeah. That's my dream was always, and we're getting there at some point, is to, have a Broadway show one day, obviously a different version of this, but it's literally my house.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was. In the off-Broadway run that I did, my mother walked around with garlic knots before the theater would open, because I said to her, I want it to smell like garlic. And she was like, well, yeah, our kitchen does. I'm like, so the theater needs to. And she thought I was crazy.
No, that's brilliant.
I'm like, I need you to feel
it's
like,
immersive.
Yes, I need you to feel like you're mine. And you're in this world and you're being plucked into this whole crazy experience. So I love people. And, you know, my husband who has OCD is like, stop hugging everyone at the end of the show, Can. He's like, you cannot bring home a viral disease to our 2-year-old. I can't have him sick. Like, he's so worried. But I love it. I just, it's who we are, right? We love people. Yeah. But it took time. There was plenty of shows. I mean, people come see me now and they say the same thing. How do you fill this theater? You fill it every time. And I'm like, I feel very blessed. But at the same time, was many years in Los Angeles. You know how hard it is to sell anything in Los Angeles, especially theater. Yeah. Where I walked out on stage and there was 25 people. I'm like, well,
you're going to put on that show for 25 people. Yep.
You know? Yeah. And you figure it out. And you also, that's your moment to play. And I sometimes would say that. I'm like, I'm going to change this up. Yep. And I'm going to try a brand new story.
Experiment.
New character, new song. Because I love music. So I wanted it to be, you know, threaded throughout the whole thing. And that was a whole nother experience. A lot of the stuff in Italian Bread is iconic music that I've turned on its head. A couple of originals that I wrote. That was weird. Yeah. Never written a song before. I was like, okay, here we go.
I love how you highlight too the fact that you're an eldest daughter, because same. So there's a whole...
We meet on Tuesdays. Right. Like, that's how I feel. Like, there should be like there's some sort of
so
meet
much
group.
To unpack.
So much.
But I love your relationship with your dad and how honest you are about it too. Because it's like, oftentimes, you know, you hear about like the daddy's girl. Yes. And being the daddy's girl doesn't necessarily mean like being a princess.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Because at least for me, my dad was like, put on your big girl pants and go do your JOB, right? That's like there was no
That's right.
coddling.
But people will look at you,
right?
Your beautiful little thing, and they're like, princess,
of
definitely,
course,
right?
I'm like, my dad's name's Jack. I always tell people, you don't know Jack. Like, and then they meet my father and they're like, holy shit. Because he is tough as nails, but at the same time, like he knew when to be soft, but that the way you described your dad in the show, I was like, oh my gosh, I relate to that so much.
I love that you say that, because I think dads today, I see my husband's a father to a boy, very different. Yeah. But my brother-in-law is a father to a little girl. She's 7, my niece Ophelia. And dads today are sensitive.
Yes.
To their daughters. And I joke all the time. I'm like, Dad, where was that for me? And he always says, he's like, but Can, look what you did with your life because of it. So I want to say that's made me harder, but I would have loved some softness. There wasn't a lot of softness. Right. I mean, there was a lot of, like you said, get a job, get out, go do the thing. Yeah. You're not that great, Can. That was something he used to say all the time.
Even in theater, like my dad was like, Jay, you realize like how expensive you are, right? Because he's like, I'm also the accountant here.
That's very funny.
And it's a lifestyle, right? I mean, there's a lot that you sacrifice. And
your parents paid for you dancing and they're paying for everything, right?
Yes, I started dancing at 3. Yes. Like when you just think about like the investment in that, right?
I think about that right now staring at my son. I'm like, oh, if he's not like a stellar baseball player or stellar something, I'm not paying for this. Right. But I think of my parents. You're right. My father, it's not a joke, but he used to do this thing. I mean, it's funny that I'm going to say it, but it's not funny. He would come to our dance recitals and be like, how many numbers you in? Yeah. And I'd be like, 2. Call me next year. I got to go back to the shop. And he wouldn't watch us until I was in. My sister and I would be in 11 numbers. Yeah. So we strived to be really good because we were like, Dad's not coming. Right. I got to open the auto body shop. I got to do things. He goes, I got cars to fix. He used to come in his jumpsuit covered in grease and be like, what number are you? Right. And I'd be like, I got 10 more.
Honey, don't waste my time. Right.
And
love you. See you at dinner.
See you at like literally. And then like my mom one year handed him, remember the old school like video cameras?
Oh yeah. Camcorder.
I don't even know the name. Camcorder to video us. Yeah. She hands him one. He videos the wrong girl for all 3 minutes. And then we go home to watch our numbers. Stop. He videoed the wrong kid. He's like, oh, you all look alike. You're all in the same outfit. In defense to him, he's right. We are all in the same stupid dance outfit.
That's actually hysterical.
And he videoed the wrong girl the whole time because he just wasn't, to him, that wasn't important. Right. Food on the table, money in the bank, like to him, that was important. Teaching me how to like change a tire, that was important. My oil changes, like I can do that on my own, which my husband's very grateful for right now. But it's like, you know, he was that guy. And I love it. And I just don't know if that is today anymore in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% because my brother just had his first baby and it's the first like grandchild in our family. So he is the baby. It's me, my sister, then my brother.
Oh boy.
Connor is 34. Okay. So Aria, she's 14 months old, but I watch Connor with my niece. And I mean, she's adorable. She's amazing. But I'm like, who is this man? Because I used to change Connor's diapers, right?
Oh my God,
like,
right.
Because we're 10 years apart.
Yes.
Right. And I'm like, but where did he become this like sensitive, gentle? I'm like, because that's not how we were brought up, you know, and it wasn't bad, but it was just like not the way as I don't want to say mushy, but like just really, he's so soft.
Soft is a great word. No, my dad wasn't soft. My grandmother wasn't soft.
Yeah.
So I think my dad looked at women as, I mean, my dad doesn't treat my mom soft.
Right.
My mom literally says the thing. She's like, thank God he married me. Otherwise furniture would never get moved, because she's picking up the other end of the couch and moving it. And she's like, you know, go get that. And she's just that woman.
Yeah.
So we're a little bit harder women. Yeah. Even though I definitely make fun of my mom being prissy in a lot of ways, because there's a lot of prissy there.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's a Staten Island thing that she inhabited for sure.
Oh, really?
That I love.
Okay.
Yeah. Her nails, all of a sudden she got her nails done when she moved to Staten Island. But in Brooklyn, her nails weren't done.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Yeah, she inhabited a bit, which I kind of love. It gave me a great character.
And speaking of, I was just going to ask you, how many characters are in the show? And who are you including from your family?
So I do my mom, my dad, my sister, my grandmother, myself, in various ages. Okay. And then I do me present day. So I sort of like have this mix of who I am, and everything is through my eyes. Like, and anytime I sing, it's sort of a reflective thought about what's happening in the scene or prior to the scene leading up to the song. So anytime I sing, it's just like totally introspective, and it's very much my inner thoughts.
I love that.
I know, it's crazy. And then we have some characters that fall in and out, whether it's a voiceover. I impersonate an usher at a theater. I impersonate the ice cream Lenny that comes into town, and he's a pot smoking Lenny. So I love impersonating
That was a really
him.
funny scene. Yeah.
So tough.
Funny moment.
And so true.
Yeah.
So true. I mean, our ice cream guy was definitely not your traditional ice cream guy growing up. He smoked some pot, and that van was covered in smoke.
Right. That's so funny.
So I have fun with those characters. So yeah, there's a bunch. And then they each have their own journey. Yeah. Each really pivotal character has their own journey throughout the show.
And what was your family's reaction? Like, what was your dad's reaction to his character and how you portrayed your relationship?
Yeah. My father started with "Don't embarrass us." That's the thing. Don't embarrass us.
Right.
Then it came out with "Don't reveal anything."
Right.
And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what can I not say? And then it was, "You're not doing it right."
Yeah.
And then it was, "I don't talk like that. Lean back more." And then I started getting notes. And then he would come to shows, and he still does. Sells my merch, my t-shirts.
That's amazing.
He loves it. He loves it. He walks around with a wad of broccoli cash. I call it the broccoli wad of cash. And he's literally like selling t-shirts like he's at a circus carnival. I'm like, you don't need to be yelling at these people. He's like, 2 for 20. I'm like, nope, you don't need to be yelling. We don't care if they sell. It's just a nice thing, Dad. But he loves it. So he's very all in, like it's a success to him. He's like, you did the thing. Because in the beginning, it was like, how are you making money? Yeah. Everything boils down to, how are you making money?
Supporting yourself.
How are you doing the thing? And then it turned into, how many seats? How much are tickets?
Right.
Oh my God. And they started figuring.
Suddenly he's managing the house. He's your producer.
All of a sudden, he's
running
like,
the books.
What's the cut you have to give the theater? I'm like, oh my God. Like it turned into that, which I am so grateful for, because it made me savvy, made me a good producer too.
Yeah.
I think my dad in his, lifetime would have been a fantastic producer. Now thinking about it, he just didn't come from that world,
Right.
He came from the auto body world. He loves it. Mom still hides her face. That's just mom. She's always just like, oh, you're still doing the thing. She tried to convince me and my sister not to perform. You know how they say stage moms?
Yeah.
My mom was always the mom that was like, you don't have to go out there.
Right.
I'm like, but I want to. I had to convince her.
Yeah.
Any show she came to, even at Wagner, we were at school, she would hide in the back.
That's so
She
funny.
never was like, my girl. She was like, oh,
Is it just
God.
because she's shy as well?
Totally shy. Totally embarrassed. Doesn't want to see herself on camera.
Yeah.
Even till this
My
day.
mom's the same way.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a generational thing, but doesn't want to do the thing.
Yeah, she's definitely introverted, but also super social at this. And I can actually, it's weird. I am very much the same way. Like when I'm not working
on,
I am like a little hermit. And I've always been that way. Yes, yeah.
I don't know if that's. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. If I'm like, I know how to have a conversation, be on, I'm working, I love telling stories, but then I'm like, can we just watch 10 hours of The Pit?
Yes.
And not go anywhere?
Right.
Which, by the way, is very traumatizing for me, watching all those hours of The Pit. But that's how I want to be.
I decompress by watching SVU.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and it's just that my mom's like, how do you do that? Like,
my mom's Law and Order.
Yeah.
Every minute is a Law and Order episode.
Yeah.
It's 28 seasons. She's in.
Right. Right. And the most horrific storyline, right?
No,
per
and
episode.
she was the mom, and I find this hilarious too. She literally like, I have a picture. I have to find it. I think I'm like maybe 4 months old.
Yeah.
Sitting in a little bassinet thing on the kitchen table, which, by the way, you shouldn't do that. But, whatever. And there's a little yellow TV in the corner. Remember those old school TVs?
Yeah.
In
little
her
tiny
kitchen?
bubble.
Yes,
Yeah.
in the corner. And The Exorcist is on. And she's watching it.
Yeah.
Feeding me. And in the back, you see her with the green face, the green pea soup face.
Yeah.
And there's several pictures of this. And my mom was like, I love horror movies. And I'm like, very weird.
Just on in the background.
Yeah, just on in the background. Really weird. Horror movies don't scare her. They don't scare me either. Maybe that's a great thing. But she's a unique person.
That's funny.
Embarrassed, but we'll watch a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like nobody's business. So I don't know. She's a very unique one. And my sister's a character who I love to impersonate because the audience finds her funny.
Yeah.
She is that person in real life.
How much younger is she than you?
She's 3 years.
Okay. Wow, that's like me and Kelly. Yeah.
Yeah. And my sister's name is Kelly.
Oh my gosh.
Kelly. And my sister really does talk like that.
No.
Yes.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But you do a really good impression of her, I bet. Yeah.
Every minute. She literally called me before I got here and I was in the car and she was just like, Candice, oh my God, I have to tell you something.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have to go. I love you.
Yeah.
I have to hang up. I'm on my way to have to like bring my voice down.
What does she do?
So she owns a dance competition.
Oh, wow.
Where she's got like, hundreds of dancers that come to her competition and perform. And she has a panel of judges. She is the quintessential like dance gal that really made a beautiful business. She was a great dancer,
That's
my sister.
incredible. Yeah.
I used to joke that like I'd go to auditions and be like, oh my God, please pick me. And my sister would go to auditions and be like, I don't want this job and get the job.
Yeah.
And then she'd be like, I'm turning it down.
Just natural
like,
talent.
Who are
yeah.
you?
Yeah.
Who are you? Like she literally was that girl. But she made a beautiful business and she loves it. And she's got 2 kids. But she literally speaks to her children like how she is in everyday life. And it makes me laugh so hard because I'm like, you're funny without knowing you're funny.
Right.
She's that girl. But she does know she's the best character in the show. Yeah. That's what she says to me. She's like, the show is what it is because of me. And I'm like, sure.
I love your grandma too, though.
Grandma's the best.
I mean, that's a great character.
It is.
But it's a real person.
It's a real
woman.
person.
Yeah.
Very crazy. Very crazy. Just not your typical grandmother, and I loved meeting other grandmothers because I was like, that's so sweet, but that's not what I have at home.
Right.
Everyone's got these little house dresses and they're cooking. My grandmother was like Spike Hills, cigarettes.
That's my dad's
around.
mom. Yeah. I think that's probably why I related to it. As soon as you started describing her, I'm like, she sounds like Grandma Irene. Like,
right. We didn't even call her grandma for many years. It was Franny. Yeah, right. It was like, we're not even going to try to do that. It just didn't fit.
Right.
Right. Because you hear that word and you think of something else. And she made her a very interesting life. I mean, single woman in the 50s. My dad was born in 56 or something like that.
Yeah.
So
mine too.
Yeah. So she 100% was like, I'm getting a divorce. I'm doing my thing. And it's like, that did not happen at that time. And, yes.
She's a trailblazer.
She is a trailblazer. She definitely circled with the wrong crowds. I'll say that. But, she had to make money and she had to do what she had to do.
Right.
But she had that strength she brought over to us girls for sure.
Yes.
And I had to tell her story in some way.
Yeah.
And I'll keep telling versions of it. There's so much more. But it's like, in this version, it's like, this is how I grew up.
Wow. So how has the show evolved over the course of the 10 years? Like, how did you get to this version?
This version was the version that I felt was the most matching to what I wanted to say. So that's why I was like, now's the time for the special because we have a proven track record that this is what works. And it's taken me, I would say the first couple of years was, COVID was smacked in the middle and that was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
For all performers.
Everybody. Yeah.
I was like, what am I doing? But I did perform throughout COVID and it was a blessing because people did come out. It was really interesting with glass in front of them and plastic. But we did the thing. It's just evolved so much from that very, first year of just like impersonating my mom for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It was just a mess.
Yeah.
To, oh my God, this is who mom actually is. And this is her journey. And this is dad's journey. And so it took me years to figure that out. And then it was like the music and, there's a lot of things you have to play in the game of producing too. The rights to songs and things like that and how we're doing a parody version of this and all the logistics behind that.
Yeah.
And then, creating the entire feel. That took another 2 years. And then I'm the type of person that was like, I'm going to tour the hell out of it to know that it works everywhere.
Right.
So if someone in Wyoming finds me on Amazon, they're going to be like, I love it. I get it. I don't know them personally, but I definitely can relate.
Yes.
So that's something that I wanted to take that journey. So it's definitely proven now, but it took some time.
Did you ever have people weighing in where they wanted to try to make changes or you know how like this business can be where it's like someone's like, oh, I can help you with this. But then it's really like they just want to like mangle what you've just created. And then it's like you have to like stand your ground.
It's hard. I've had agents come to me and producers want to work with me. And it was like, hey, can you take the music out? Hey, can you just stand there with a mic? That was a big fight I had. And I can't believe it's a fight because it's just a style.
Yeah.
Like, can you have a rug and a stool and a bottled water and a mic? And I was like, well.
And the old audience will only snap.
I was like, well, yeah, I could do that, but that's not what I do.
Yeah,
like, I was like, I want my vectors and I want to stay. Like, it was really hard to get that through to a lot of people. So my first couple of years, you know, agents signed me and I worked with some, and some would put me in coffee houses and be like, go perform. And I'm like, this isn't going to land well. Yeah. And it's not because I'm not great or the audience isn't great or the venue's not great. It's just not the right feel.
Right.
So, you know, I had to always like, I would say, keep regurgitating. Lily Tomlin, Whoopi Goldberg, Mike Birbiglia now is a trailblazer in that world. So I had to kind of, you know, say in that vein, John Leguizamo is the one that I like grew up with. And it was like, so I had to do that a lot. And then I had a lot of producers be like, is there a way to not make this so family friendly? Because you would make a bigger splash if you talked about, I've said it before, your sex life.
I'll make it a little more risque. Yeah.
If you talked about, you know, how grandma, you know, taught you about those things. And I was like, but it didn't go that far in my real life. So you don't want to
embellish.
I don't have anything to offer. Yeah. And this is what I find funny. Yeah. I find everyday situations funny. I find shopping in Trader Joe's hilarious. Yeah. I don't know why, but I do. So for me, that to me, situational and family stuff was what I wanted to do because that's just who I am. Yeah. I have nothing against the other things. But again, in this business, you're like, well, this person wants to work with me. Right. I should do it. And you think
like, is this the moment? Is this it?
Is this the moment? I mean, I've had a few that I look back that I was like, yeah, that probably was the moment, but it's okay. It'll come back. You know, I've had people want to be like, can I make this a movie? And I'm like, let's do it. And then it never happened. Right. Or it did. And it kind of died. As we know, those things happen.
But like you said earlier, just like 10 minutes ago, it's about timing. And when the time is right, all of those things will happen.
I think so for all of us in our own journey. And I think the fertility journey taught me that, which Italians don't have patience. We don't have patience. Right. We want it now. We're like, oh my God, I've been here. But the fertility journey taught me to sort of sit in that space of like, not knowing and going, okay, at least I'm healthy today, you know, because yesterday I wasn't. And, you know, that sort of made me realize that in this business of show, anything can happen at any time. The more you have control over your own destiny is kind of nice. So I do like that.
But we only have so much. And it's important to always realize that. Yeah.
You're right.
I think people too, just because, you know, as human beings, it's like, people have to like learn to be flexible, be able to bend and not break. Yes. But also understand how to let go of whatever idea you thought you had, because it's never the way you thought it was going to.
It's a mess.
Right. And it never evolves in that way. No. Like to get from point A to point Z, you'll get there. Yeah. It's just not the route you think that you've mapped out, you know.
And there's this thing that you said earlier that I think is so on point. Others in our family, in our circles, our inner circles, our friends have visions for us of what they thought we would be. Yes. And it's like going against that to what you really want to be is tough as well.
Yes.
Right?
It's like trying to steer a car in two different directions.
Oh my gosh. I find that a lot. Even till this day, I still have people that are like, well, you're never going to go to Broadway? And I'm like, oh God, I don't know.
My thing is, I mean, I'm such a rage baiter that like now I'm like, if someone asks me something like that, I'm like, when are you going to go to Broadway? Right. You know, I was wondering the same thing about you.
You know what? I'll make you. I love that you just said that. I need to adopt that. I mean, I
do it very tongue in cheek, but like, people have to understand like, what is the intention behind the question or the statement that you're making?
What is the statement?
And when you put it back on them, then it forces them to like, it's like a mirror. Like, oh, what am I saying? Why am I imposing this on this person?
It's so funny because they have this vision for you, or maybe they think they know you through social media and they're like, well, this is what you should be doing. And it 100%. Makes me giggle. But my sister has a lot like you, that answer. Her answer is always the same, which makes me laugh because some people have done it with her in front, like she's with me. And people have said it to me and she's like, let's see you try it. And I'm like, oh, calm down. Like she gets like, I'm like, no, just.
What is her sign?
Her sign, she's a Libra.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, she'll get you. So she literally will just be like, you get up there.
Yeah.
You know, I think people are funny. They'll sit on the couch and yell at the TV and say to the, you know, the Tom Brady's of our world, you threw that wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you try that.
Well,
you
and
know?
like, it's okay. Like, I think I've just gotten so numb to that. Like in the
Yes.
world of media, like
Yes,
just
that's
everyone is some sort of like,
expert.
you know, expert. And it's like, yet they've never tried or even worked in that industry per se, or, you know, attempted to do the thing that you are doing.
Yes.
And so everybody's got an opinion.
I know.
And I just got I'm so good at just like,
I love that.
like,
Also, too, you're in a tough business.
Yeah.
Media, news, it's a tough business.
Yeah.
I feel like every day, I don't know how you do it because every day there's so much information.
yes.
And I'm like, how do you filter? I can't even filter it. I'm like, I need to not look at this. I think that's why I just have to make fun of things all the time because I'm like, I can't get through. It's a lot and it's heavy.
Oh, it's so heavy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't even miss like the news or being so much in the know.
That's
like if there's something going on, then I'll do my own research on it. Because I don't think that anyone should be watching one source.
Yes.
Because every source has an agenda. Who keeps the lights on? Not the story.
That's right.
It's not what the facts are. The lights are about like there's a business to run.
That's
so
right.
there's so much that goes into each and every outlet that a lot of people aren't able to take into consideration because they just don't know. They just know what they see on TV.
That's right. And I feel that way about entertainment too, even in theater. You just go see a Broadway show.
Right.
You just go watch a movie. You have no idea how many people it took to get that up and there and filmed and on stage. It's like, I mean, me with my one person show, the amount of heavy lifting on my production company, I'm like, Jesus, no one would believe it.
Right.
You know, because it's so many ins and outs and so many people that make things happen behind the scenes.
It's true. It's true. And I'm sure like it was a lot for you to have to walk your family through that whole process. Like as you're doing it and as you're carrying this whole load yourself. And then you're also trying to make it nice for everyone, you know, involved with you on that journey.
Yes.
That's hard to like,
It's hard, and it's still always hard because again they have their visions, but they are super supportive. Yeah. Where now, of course, my dad's like the next one. I'm like, yes, it's coming, Dad. You know, he's like, yeah, I get the guilt before I die. I'm like, can you not? With these?
That's so funny
because that's Dad. You know,
right?
But I think there's a level of trust now. There's a huge level of trust where it's like she knows what she's doing. Obviously, she's all right. You know, what do parents want? Their kids to be okay.
Oh, 100%.
That's just the end of the day.
And I find it so funny too. Like we were talking about how our moms are kind of similar. Like my mom has said to me multiple times, she's like, I look at you in awe because she's like, you just go do things.
You do the thing
that like she wouldn't perhaps have the nerve to do. And I'm just like, I've never even thought twice. Like, I'm like, you raised me. Like I
know, isn't that funny? But you had that in college from what I remember. You were like, let's try it. I'm like, okay, we're trying it.
Throw it at the wall, see what sticks. Yes, because you're never going to be ready for anything.
Never.
There's never a time where you're like, you know what, I'm ready for this show right now.
Never.
No, you're not ready. You just have to make a choice to go. Like we're starting now.
Try it.
Yeah. Same thing with your show.
Yeah.
Like you just have to do it because if you don't, what's the option? Then you never do it.
Yeah, well, Tom would say that to me all the time. He's like, if you don't get out there right now, he's like, what are you doing? He's like, what was the last year?
The choice to take no action is a choice.
That's right.
It's a choice to do nothing.
It is. And I think, oh gosh, I think so many people don't recognize that.
Yeah.
It almost feels like if I don't do anything, it's better because it's safer.
Because I'm safe. And I say you're paralyzed by fear.
Yeah.
And to me, that's my biggest fear is not taking action. Like
too.
I couldn't imagine not acting on something because I have so many ideas and so, you know, like.
Right. I feel that way too.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's sort of my sickness, but it is.
No, it's not. It's your gift.
It's my,
it is a gift.
I'll say it's my gift.
Yeah.
I literally am like you in the type of thing where I'm like, I don't want to live this life and not know what that felt like.
Right.
Whatever it was, you know, for me, it is this level of performing. And then there's beyond that. I mean, I also write. So for me, it was like, I need to know what it is to be a New York Times bestseller. I need to know what it feels like.
Right.
I know that sounds weird because you're like,
no, I'm like, she's going to do it.
Right. I'm like, I need to know these. I need to know how it feels to have the movie premiere that I want. Not, I could go get one tomorrow. That's not what I want.
Yes.
You want what you want because it's what your soul is telling you is true.
some people have vision.
Yeah.
Not everyone, but some people have vision.
Yeah.
And then there's a certain type of person who has vision and then is able to execute. Because the execution doesn't mean you know what the hell you're doing. It just means that you are able, you've got the trust in yourself to say, I'm gonna do this. Like I came up with this idea and now I'm gonna put it into action.
Yes.
And by the time you get good at it, that's when people catch up.
Yeah.
And then they're like, wow, how did that happen? Like as if you're in like some sleeper cell, right? Like you came out of nowhere and it's like you've been working on it for
There was a few people that came forward that was like, oh, I didn't realize you were still doing this thing. I'm like, this thing. Oh my God. And you're like, yeah, I'm still doing this thing.
Still dancing, singing and dancing. Yeah.
But it's true though. The action is messy on my part.
Yeah.
I'm a big old mess. I still am with new things that I'm like, oh boy, okay, Candice.
But we're not good until we're good.
That's just me.
Yeah.
As always, even when I was a kid, going back to learning a dance combination, going back to learning a scene, it took me a bit because I'm that personality that I need to encompass it all. And then I'm like, oh, now I know.
Yes.
And watch out.
Yes.
But until I know, I'm a big old mess.
Right.
And I'm just figuring it out, throwing myself in the water and being like, I'm drowning. This is bad. Okay. And, just staying afloat.
And what do you, when you're in those situations, like what is it that you use? Like what is your coping skill? Because for me, it's always been movement because I started out as a dancer. Yeah. And for me to move my body, and Renee and I were talking about this on the show a couple months back, but like you got to get in your body. I got to get in the space. And then the vision becomes clearer and but then you can execute it.
I love it.
For me, that's how it works. But for you.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. Getting in my body is a big thing, but it's also too, I have to sort of like, just try it, Candice. And the more I put myself in front of an audience.
Yeah. But then you've got something to build off of.
And I'm like, well, that didn't work.
Yeah.
And I have to sort of go. Right. So there was many awkward times of putting myself in front of an audience where I was like, that was bad.
Yeah.
Not the whole thing.
Sure.
But there were parts that needed to work. And I luckily would tape myself and I'd watch back and be like.
It's so important to do that.
Watching yourself is awful.
It's awful,
sorry.
But you have to do it.
But I had to hear it. And I almost... my editor for the comedy special, my dear friend Brent, made me laugh. He was like, you're not staring at yourself. I do this. Because to me, writing and especially comedy is musical. So
I can't believe you just said that. I have chills.
Oh.
Every news story that I've ever done over like my whole 20-year career, I have made my photographer play it for me. This is going on TV, but I would make them play it for me and I would just sit there and listen because there's a rhythm and the pacing.
100%.
And if I felt like there was an awkward beat, I'd be like, go back because
that is right.
And then you need to make an adjustment because it is music. I cannot believe you just said that.
Yes.
That's
I'm
incredible.
so glad you, that makes me feel good too because I thought I was crazy. I mean, I just naturally have been doing that for years because like you said, I'm able to close my eyes and be like, well, there should have been a laughter there. Oh, wait, there it is. Okay, move it up. And whatever it was, or maybe I didn't deliver it right. And I have to sort of sit in that.
Yeah.
And also too, when I'm writing, I did something in LA years ago called the CBS Comedy Showcase where you had to do tons and tons of sketch and you had to write these sketches and they'd have diversified actors perform them. And all my sketches were getting thrown in. And that was the moment that I realized being musically inclined is so helpful.
Yeah.
Because I was able to be like, hey, go and there's the joke. And they were like, oh, or whatever it was.
There's a rhythm to it.
It sounded so funny. But my dancing, especially tap dancing, came into play because there's a rhythm to it. And
life is about numbers, about rhythm, about 5, 6, 7, 8. Like there's literally to all of it. Yes.
When I first started really doing joke writing for like TV shows and learning that space, I had a very old school writer and he's super talented and he sat down with me and he said, listen, go to a bowling alley. And I said, yeah, he goes, I always write comedy in a bowling alley. And I said, okay. And I said, why? He's like, because think about it. You hear the ball drop, you hear and then the pins. That's how the jokes should. And I'm like, okay. So just everything was musical. So from that moment on, years and years ago, I just feel like everything to me is in my body, but also in my ear and in my brain that I just sit with my eyes closed and I have to talk it out.
Yeah.
So that's where I sometimes find a quiet space, or if I'm in my office at home, Tom will literally walk in and my eyes will be closed. He's like, what are you working through? Because he knows I'm working through either a script, a scene, or something that I've either written or something that came my way. And I'm like trying to see if it works. And that's just, So
Wow. Yeah. And on the topic of timing, like, you're talking about how you have a 2-year-old son now.
I do.
And I know you went through this whole journey just to get there as you're creating this one woman show.
And I love that you're saying this because I'm going to cry.
It's okay.
There was a break in my performance journey because I was physically so unwell.
Because you were broken.
I was so broken. And I mean broken physically, but also mentally. And I was exhausted. And there was a good, I'm going to say 2 years at least, where I might have had shows booked and I got up there, but I literally was a robot.
Went through the motion.
I was just a robot. And Tom would say to me, let's not perform. And there was 1 or 2 times I physically couldn't. And I never canceled the show. I just did the thing. And I regret that because I was like, I should have said, I can't get out on stage tonight. I literally just had a miscarriage.
Did it make you, did it make you resentful toward this show that you had created?
You know what's funny? That's a great question. God, you're good at this.
Because I'm just feeling it.
No.
Like, it's like you have to, I know what it means to have to turn it on and do a show when you're not in the mood, right? And I would have to sit and do the news for 5 hours straight. Oh my God. And it's like, and if you're not in the mood, it's like, well, guess what? The audience, they need this information. They don't care how you feel. Right.
So, oh God, we're going to say the same thing. I didn't want to get out there for one particular show in memory that I have. Several I have because I just was shooting up medication for IVFs that weren't working. But this one particular one, I literally just had a miscarriage. And I was like, I literally had it in a bathroom 2 hours before. I'm sorry to be so, but I have to like preface it with that because then I was like, I can't do this thing that I want to do, but I'm exhausted. I don't know if I can do it. And Tom was like, let's cancel. He's got my back. He's like, who cares? Right. We'll explain it. But it was a sold out show. And I'm outside and I saw a little girl. She was about 7 or 8 walking in with her grandma. And I just lost it. Yeah. And I was like, I'll do it. I'm going to do it. It's not going to be great, but I'm going to do it. And it was a good show. It wasn't a bad show. It just wasn't, me 100% because I was broken. But that whole show I did watching that little girl and her grandma. I watched them hold hands. I watched them laugh. I watched the grandma cry in a moment. I watched the little girl ask a question,
And your whole show, you're going back to yourself in different moments as a little girl.
Yes. Right. Yeah. So I just had I cried it out. And after the show was over, Tom was like, okay, I actually had to go to the hospital because I had to get a DNC. And he was like, okay, let's, drive you and we were just like, we worked. I just took it as that was my job for the day. Yeah. Like I did my job. And then I remember sitting in the hospital and he was like, you okay? And I said, you know what? This is going to sound really crazy. I was like, but I owe Italian Bread something. And he was like, what are you talking about? I was like, and I think I want to shoot a comedy special, theatrical special in some point in my life. He's like, yeah, Ken, we'll get there. Like he was like, let's worry about this.
Out of the hospital, right?
But it felt like I owed the show something because it kept me alive physically, mentally, in a lot of ways. It just kept me okay, seeing better. I saw the world a little better because I saw that little girl with her grandma enjoying the show and enjoying their moments together. And I hugged them at the end because they stayed and they asked to meet me. And I'm like, of course, So these things kept me alive, but it wasn't easy. It sucked. It sucked. All my miscarriages is
How
another
many
thing.
years were you guys trying?
About 8, 9.
Wow.
In the
so basically the course of the entire.
Actually, now that I think about it, yeah. And it's hard to be funny when you're not feeling good. So any, comedian, when they get up there and they're like doing the thing and they're having a great night, if they get off stage and they're really sad in real life, God bless them because for me, I'm a little bit of an open book. If I'm having a really, really tough time in life,
you can't fake
my performance is not 100%.
Yeah.
And especially when you're telling your own story, it's different if you kind of just read some lines and do a scene that's not yours.
100%,
When it's you can get there and mask it. I don't know. You can sing the song. Yes, you'll be touched differently.
Where the acting comes in.
Yeah. But when it's your story, you're kind of like, oof, everything hits differently. And that was tough. So yeah, you're right. It was a lot of the journey of Italian Bread was struggling to be a mom.
Right.
And that's also too, like you say, the visions you see for yourself. I saw myself being a mom. I was really confused why it wasn't working at all. in so many ways that I was like, well, give me the adoption papers. I'm fine with that at this point. Like I tried it and it didn't feel like a failure.
No.
It just felt like a pivot.
Right.
But it felt.
It's not the direct route you thought you were going to take, but none of life is.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I was like, give me the adoption papers.
Yeah.
Tom was a little, not against it. He was just like, give it one more year. Give it one more month. He would do that to me in the last year. And I thought, okay, one more time. And like, you know, all those things that we do. And then I sort of said, all right, I'm going to dive into my career. Now I'll do that thing. You know, and that's a big reason why my social media presence was quiet years ago is because I didn't want to go on camera.
Yeah.
I was sad. I was like, I've really miscalculated every move because then you regret everything you've done up until that moment because the
you're
one
questioning
thing.
it. It's like you're second guessing.
Take it back.
Yeah.
I didn't regret it. I questioned it. Oh my God, I should have never moved to LA. Oh my God, I should have never done that. And then I started all the things. Oh, I should have just, Tom and I have been dating since we're 17, 18 years old. Like, I should have gotten pregnant at 21. This would have been so much easier. Yeah. We had each other. You know, all the things started coming out in my brain and saying it. And then I went through the whole, you married a lemon. I'm so sorry. Then I did that. Now I'm disappointing him. Oh God, that sounds crazy. But that was a big thing for me because part of our journey as a couple was fulfilling each other's happinesses. And I was like,
make a family.
I'm killing him. I'm not doing the thing. He never once made me feel bad. He was like, I'm good. We don't need kids. Like he was
Tom's great.
He's great. Like he was like, I'm good. And that comes from our theater background of being those people that are like, this is life. Like I'm happy with this. We get to do our life and whatever that is, this is the ride. Tom's all for the ride. I was like, this is not the map that I laid out. What is this journey? You know, so
you're like, I've got the rundown, okay?
What the hell is this? Like, I was so unsure about everything. And I feel for anyone who is going through any health journey because mine went from fertility to health back to fertility because I was like, okay, now I'm healthy now. You know, I mean, I had 3 or 4 years of unhealthy journey of like, what's happening? I'm having fibroid after fibroid after
Did you have to have surgeries?
Yes. So I've had 13 surgeries.
Oh, get out.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
I've only had one. Yeah.
I mean,
it took a whole year to recover from when you're
one is enough.
But it's your abdomen.
Yes.
And that's the thing. It's like they're not operating on your calf muscle. Like you could still hobble around when you can't get off the couch or get yourself out of bed because you have 5 incisions in your stomach. Right. I mean, that's
And I will say that's the laparoscopic surgery. I had 1. I had 7 fibroid surgeries, myomectomies.
I did a myomectomy and they took out a fibroid and they got rid of a bunch of endo.
Love it. That's great that they can do it in your myomectomy.
Yeah, they used a machine called the Da Vinci system, ironically, which I had done a story on 8 years prior. So I knew exactly what the doctor was talking about. I was like, did that story prepare me for this moment? It's like a chandelier and it has all these arms and they control it from a room.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So I kind of wish when I had my myomectomies and stuff that they knew endo. I didn't know. I didn't know until I had my laparoscopic surgery. And I didn't have that surgery because the doctor said, you probably have endo. I had that surgery because there was a dermoid growing on my ovary.
What's a dermoid?
Exactly. What is a dermoid?
I haven't heard of that,
So I was doing rounds of IVF in the midst of all the drama and nothing was working. Yeah. None of my IVFs worked.
Okay.
And I should say this for anyone who's watching, who's going through any sort of fertility journey, like all of my numbers were so bad that they were literally like, you're a 65-year-old woman. Like they would be like, you're never going to have a child.
Yeah.
And any clinic I went to, but I did find one clinic who, Dr. Murray, love you. He's wonderful. He didn't care about age. He didn't care about numbers. So we were going through the journey of IVF later on. But before him, I was doing IVFs and failing. Nothing was working. I wasn't making eggs. My body wasn't doing the thing.
Yeah.
And then I said, I don't feel well. And a doctor said to me, it's the medication from IVF. I said, but this is a different kind of unwell. Like I can't get out of bed and I feel like I can't breathe. Like I kept holding my side.
Yeah.
We're dancers. We know.
Yeah.
You know in your body, something's not working.
Right.
Something's not working. And I was like, Tom's like, your belly looks swollen. I have a big butt. I have some thighs. But when my belly is swollen, I'm like, something's
off. Yeah.
I never really had that physical shape. And I was taking that shape. And I'm like, something's up. So I go to a fertility doctor in the city who I don't know, who I got referred to, who said to me, I will never give you medicine. You, in an ultrasound, you have a ton of like cysts on your right ovary. He's like, but I can't, as we know, in an ultrasound, I can't see that far up past your ovary. I don't know what's going on. I'm not touching you. So he gave me a surgeon's number and he said, go get an MRI. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So I got an MRI 24 hours later from this wonderful Dr. Vidali. And he said in 24 hours, he was literally like, you are going into surgery. I'm flying back from vacation. And I was like, why? He's like, you can't breathe, right? I said, I am having trouble. He said, well, the MRI showed that this cyst grew into a dermoid, which could have been a former, miscarriage of an egg grew, that stayed, and it kept growing and it grew all the way up into my rib cage to the point where it was leaning on my chest cavity. I could not breathe.
Wow.
He's like, we need this out of you today. He says, I'm measuring 14 inches. I was like, what? Like, you hear this information and you're like, I don't even know what that means.
Right.
Just help me. Like, now you're at the mercy to get better. And he did the surgery. He said, I think 40 minutes. I woke up. He was like, that's like 2 hours later.
Yeah.
It's like, that was way longer than I thought. He's like, but here's why. He's like, you got stage 3 endometriosis.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Googling, what the hell is
I know.
that?
Yeah.
That
they told me I was stage 4 and I had to look it up too. I was like, what do the stages mean? What does that mean?
But I didn't even know what endo was, right?
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell does that mean? He's like, oh, and I took out your appendix. I'm like, you did? He's like, it was covered. I'm like, oh,
isn't that incredible?
He's like, that's why also too, sounds crazy, I wasn't necessarily going to the bathroom the most healthiest way either. I was in a little bit of pain towards the end of this. I'm like, why is this all of a sudden happening? It just felt like everything came to a head.
Yeah.
So that surgery saved my life completely. And he saved my ovary. Yeah. Because prior to that, I was in a hospital about, I would say a week before, in pain, thinking it's my appendix. They said, no, your appendix is fine. And that surgeon in that hospital in Jersey said to me, I'm going to give you a hysterectomy. I think it's time. And I went, whoa, I'm in a, fertility journey.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with a hysterectomy, but there's a time and a place for all these things.
Right.
And I felt like I was just being thrown an option. And I left the hospital, which he made me sign papers that said if I die leaving the hospital, it's not his fault. I was like, fine. And it was just a really crazy couple of years of experiences and just
the things that doctors will say to you, especially when it comes to like female reproductive issues, it's just horrible, especially for like people who don't know. Like you said, you didn't know what endometriosis even was, and it's like, well, guess what? Neither does your doctor.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
That's right. And I remember telling my primary care, I have stage 3 endometriosis, and she, as a woman, went, okay.
Yeah.
Because obviously she didn't have it and I'm not mad at her. I just went, wow, we're really not educated on it. Like I had a moment where I said, there's not a pamphlet. There's not a little, here's a diet, an inflammation diet that you should probably look at. Like something. Hey, by the way, the 7 days of screaming period's not good. Like something.
Right.
Nothing. So there is a big lack and a big void in our healthcare system when it comes to this disease. And by the way, it can happen in men. Mm-hmm. There are men that can have this.
Well, that's why it's so funny that they say, we're going to take out your uterus and everything will be fine. Well, men don't have a uterus. And how are they, why do they have endo? What is the...
Yeah, we're going to take out your fallopian tubes. Oh, you don't need your ovary. Mm-hmm. That's what I heard that several times.
Well, my ovaries actually, this is wild. So the surgeon went in and I went to a cancer care, like an oncologist, because they were taken out. They didn't know if the fibroid was cancerous or not. Like they were like, we're going to test it, all this stuff. So the fibroid was in the uterine wall. Like not outside, not inside, in the wall. Right.
Mine were too.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's sweet. So she took it out.
Yeah.
And then she's like, while she was in there, realized, she was like, it's everywhere. She's like, this is stage 4. Afterwards, she goes, honey, I'm so sorry. She said, you told me that you had pain. This is how I described it to her as a patient. I go, every time I go over a speed bump, it's like someone's stabbing me inside.
Oh, mama, you were in pain.
Yeah. I would dread a speed bump. I would drive down streets that I knew didn't have a speed bump because I just didn't want to get over, because it's that impact, right? And she said, I immediately understood what you meant in my office when you said that, because once I got in there, she said, your ovaries or trapped behind your uterus because the endometrium, it just takes, because it's all, it's
tissue.
Yes. And so they took, your ovary is supposed to be like this. Mine were just hidden.
They were almost,
like, she's like, where are they?
They're almost twisted too, which is so painful.
But that's basically like a guy's balls. So she goes, every time, she goes, now I understand why every time you went over a speed bump, you're like, oh God,
Holy shit.
Yes. And so for this oncologist to look at me and say like, she's like, I can't even imagine what that felt like. And I was like, horrible.
And how long did you feel that way? I'm just curious.
Years. Oh, it went on for years. And I was told this is normal. This is just, this is being a woman. Like murder is normal.
But
It's a homicide scene.
Like this is insane. I would literally, I'm so glad that you're saying murder. Because Tom, I mean, this is how close my husband and I are. We're being together for so long that he would joke that he would open the bathroom door and he was like, you all right? I'm like, you don't want to come in here because it literally looks like I've killed someone. He's like, I feel like that's not normal. He's going through the bathroom door. And I'm like, it's not. But we're told it is.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, because I'm sorry, but I think my mom definitely has had endo.
Oh, sure.
And didn't know it. I mean, in her 50s, she had a giant surgery to remove a unknown mass from her abdominal that was growing up into her chest cavity.
Yeah, and it can move to your lungs. I mean, it can travel throughout your body. Yeah.
And she wasn't diagnosed with endo, but in my brain, I'm like, that's probably what it was. You know, like we don't know these things.
Right.
And as women, sorry, guys, I don't mean to be like, oh, women, but as women, we're like literally dealing with pain, going to work, smiling, because at the end of it all, we got to smile.
Yeah.
You got to smile while you're doing these things, right? We're expected to do some of these things.
When you don't look sick.
Yeah.
People like to judge you based on like, oh, so I'm supposed to look like shit? Because guess what? Even if I have the flu, I'm showing up like this.
Yeah.
You're not going like,
I don't know if I'm showing up as good as you. You look really good. I definitely look like I have the flu. But I try.
We are showgirls.
Yeah,
like this is programmed in us. Life of a showgirl. Like that
show goes on.
Yes. And it's like, honey, put your lashes, do your and get out there, right? Wherever there is for you.
Right.
And so, to be in excruciating pain and people not understand because, you look fine.
You look fine.
You look, Isn't that a wild, like it's wild to be judged in that way where it's like, so I look good. So what am I supposed to look like?
That's right.
Should I look like I got hit by a bus? Because that's how I feel.
Yes. And I will say this, I didn't feel that what you just said until I actually got pregnant. And this is going to sound crazy because when there's a big belly, people are like, you okay? You okay? You okay? And I was like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But before, when I looked fine, inside I was not okay.
Right.
But no one asks you if you're okay because like you said, you're doing the thing.
Yes.
But when it's something physical, you can see like the big belly. It's like, oh, sit down, sit down. I'm like, please don't treat me like I'm an invalid. Now I started to feel like the other way. It was really an interesting time for me because, I guess most people that go through this, it's sort of that thing of like when I was dying inside, literally no one knew.
Yeah.
And I went along with it too.
Right.
I didn't openly say, I'm sick.
Yeah.
I didn't. I was sort of like, I have to do my job. I gotta be a good girl. I gotta be a first daughter. And I gotta do the thing.
Yeah. Also too, when you do talk about something like that, like people are like, oh, so sorry you don't feel well. And it's like, oh, she has a bad period. Like, and they don't give a shit. Like, because they think that you're some kind of wuss. Meantime, they have absolutely no idea the level of pain that it can create.
That's right.
Like the inflammatory system in your body.
That's
it's wild.
And going along with inflammation and like hormones, like you said, when you're on the IVF journey, no one knows you are. You're not wearing a stamp.
Yep.
But you're going into a bathroom. All of a sudden, I became a nurse. I know I can inject anything into anyone. Yeah. When our son was born, Tom turned to me and he was like, God, I hope he doesn't have allergies. I don't want to have to deal with an EpiPen. I'm like,
you're like, I got this.
Really?
Yeah.
And I was like, remember? He's like, you're right.
Like, I'm a human.
He's like, we're going to cushion. I was like, God, let that be the worst thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's these things that you come across in, the journey of this, that it's like, I literally would be in a bathroom, in a green room, 2 minutes before stage, somehow finding the right angle. My stomach was black and blue. I'll never be a stomach model. That is so over. Like my stomach is a mess and it's fine. Yes. But you really learn how to mask what's going on
and manage
your whole life.
After my surgery, it took probably 6 months until I started to feel like strong. You know what I mean?
Yes, strong is a great
enough
word.
to be
That's
like feel confident in my core because your core is everything. Your limbs, it's like one thing if you have surgery, your core That'll take you out.
That's right.
And like, God bless any woman who's had a cesarean. Like, you think about it and they got them out of the hospital. I know, I'm sure you've got all kinds of stuff. Right. Like, to heal from that.
That's insane.
Is just mind blowing. But 6 months after my surgery, I remember having a moment where I just started crying. Not on birth control, because I wasn't in pain. And it hit me that I was like
this is what it's
supposed
to be like.
Bracing for, because when something hurts, you know how to brace for it. Just like if you're wearing dance shoes and let's say, something, you hurt your foot, you know how to brace for certain things where it's like.
That's right.
And the moment that I realized I don't have to brace anymore, like, because it just had become part of my instinct, like muscle memory. And the void of it, it made me cry. Like, it was wild.
It's the release.
Yes.
Is incredible. And living with pain every day to going with no pain, you almost don't realize it because 100%. You're like, oh, I literally was in pain every day. Yes. Like, us as people, as humans, can normalize things so quickly once we're in this sort of, way all the time. And now I was a little like that too. I'm like, oh, this is what periods is supposed to be like?
Yeah.
After my surgery. And that's when, of course, when I got pregnant. And then I was like, oh, that's great. But then that pregnancy didn't happen. But like, it really was shocking to me that was periods.
Yeah.
My sister was like, yeah, that's my period. I'm like, this has been your period your whole life. And I've been in there 7 days in a massacre. And she's like, oh, Candice, something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God.
It's so funny. With my sister too.
Really?
She like her, I thought it was so cute. I was visiting her once and she had the light flow tampons. And I'm like, what are you going with
who are these people? Who are these people? Never.
It made me crack up because I was just like,
who are these people?
Need 12 of these.
Yes. Right, exactly. My mom used to say this thing. She was like, do the triple pad. I'm like, again, who are you? This is not normal.
Yeah.
Right? But this is just what we normalize and we think this is okay. And as a dancer, you're like, this is really uncomfortable.
Well, and that's what made me go have the surgery was because I couldn't feel my body anymore in the way that I'm so accustomed to. Like, I can manipulate my core and like even if you're just doing like a body roll or just even just like tensing up your lower abs.
Something
like I have
wrong.
that control.
Interesting.
And I genuinely, I was like, I think I'm squeezing the fibroid. Like, I could feel it.
Wow.
As I was squeezing it. Cause I'm a small person. Yes. And I could feel this, like, I knew exactly where it was. I knew where it hurt. And I knew when I would clench with my muscles, I'm like, I think that's where it is.
That's insane.
And I remember my surgeon looking at me like in her office, she thought it was wild. After she was inside and opened me up, then met me on the other side, she was like, I understand everything that you told me. Like, everything made sense to her.
Because we're so connected to our bodies, right? And I think now, I will say this, I'm trying to be better at it. It's hard. Which is going through life every day and trying to stay present in how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Because I do feel, life in general is moving real quick these days.
Sure.
And like you, we're traveling, we're doing all the things.
Yeah,
and
show starts in 30 minutes.
The social media, the show, and this booking and that booking and the husband, the kid, whatever it is, you the family, the mom, and then like, and did I check it on me? Am I in pain today? Like, I literally have to do that now because I think I can get into the space of I'm ignoring it and just doing my thing.
Yes.
So I have to always be like, oh, Candice, don't eat that cheese because tomorrow you're going to be in pain.
Right. The inflammation.
Which sucks when you're Italian. You just want to eat all the cheese.
But you have to weigh that. You have to make that choice.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time I have to be like, I can't have this because tomorrow I will be in pain.
Right.
For me, it's alcohol too. I can't. I want the glass of wine every minute.
Right.
But if I have it, I'm burning.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I look like I'm 4 months pregnant. And I'm like, how and why are you here?
Yes.
It's really weird. And that is an autoimmune.
Right.
Like, it's all connected.
And it's just wild to me that even still doctors will recommend birth control.
Yes.
Or I was also offered painkillers.
Yes,
they offered me painkillers so that I could go to work and be on air for 5 hours a day.
Isn't that nice?
I'm like, hold on a second. First of all, how am I going to get to work? Right? Because if you're on a painkiller, right?
Shouldn't be driving.
How am I going to anchor? Like, in my mind, I'm just thinking, and then on top of it, I'm thinking my family has a history of like drug abuse,
like addiction in some way. You
through
can
generations.
That's right.
So I'm
You
like,
can easily
I
get
don't
addicted.
think this is like in my mind, I'm just like evaluating the option. And I'm like, I don't think that this is a good idea. So I guess I'm going to have to, like, this is where the eldest daughter thing really served me well. Because I just had to put my big girl pants on and shut the fuck up and do my JOB.
Yes.
Like, that was it. And
I know.
So I would do the grind because I could hear, my dad's voice, like just, not that he would want me to be in pain.
No.
But I knew, like, what do I have to do?
That was the better option
to
for
get
you.
the job done.
That's right.
Right.
I will say the journey of health will bring you to your knees in a lot of ways, but also you will become your own best advocate. And if you can become your own best advocate, I feel you're safer.
Oh, yeah.
Like now I open my mouth. I for sure am and like, nope, that doesn't feel right to me. And I wasn't there immediately. Like, it took me a while to get to be that person.
Oh, yeah.
Because I am the type that gets real, like, introverted at first, where I'm like, something's wrong, help me. And
you have these people with all these letters and titles.
A white jacket.
And expertise.
You walk in with a white jacket, whether you're doing Botox,
and credentials.
whether you're doing, I'm like, you know more than me.
Right.
I'm like, it doesn't matter what you're doing. My esthetician comes in with a jacket. I'm like, you know more than me. Fix me. Right? Whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I'm like that too. I get very psychologically sucked in, and I'm like, okay, tell me what to do. And I'm a good student.
Yeah.
But they didn't have anything to tell me.
Girl.
And I'm a good girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but isn't that just like,
what the hell?
I love that that's a conversation now, though. Yeah.
I know. And I will say that was a thing that I was mad at myself for.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I sat with doctors that were like, so you never had an accident with Tom? And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, you never had like I might be pregnant? I was like, actually, we haven't.
Yeah.
And then I would laugh. I'm like, I guess I'm a good girl. And then I would get mad at myself because I wish I had the oops, because then I would know I'm able to get pregnant. So it was a real mind fuck. I'm just going to say it really was.
Yeah.
Because every doctor I saw, that was their go-to question, every fertility doctor.
Right.
You never had an oops? I'm like, no, sorry.
That's
we use
wild.
condom. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, whatever it was. It was just like, no. And it was really the good girl aspect of that threw me for a loop. So I was mad for a little bit.
Yeah.
Can't be funny when you're mad. I was real angry. I was like, I'm mad.
So hard, right? Because it's like you're like raging inside.
I did a lot more writing during that time.
Right.
Sold a couple of scripts because I was like, I cannot get on stage. I'm mad.
Right.
So I'm mad that I was the good girl. All these things came into play. And it's just, these journeys take us to these places.
Yeah.
But because I went to those places, now I'm able to, oh God, just sit in those experiences.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, I just want to help others through those journeys.
And you are, because you went through that experience and then you kept going.
Yes.
And you found the right doctor.
Yes.
And you got pregnant.
I did.
I mean, like,
I did the thing.
Yeah.
I got pregnant way later than I wanted to. Not because, like, by the way, that's not a bad thing.
No.
But in my upbringing, it was like, you have kids at 29.
Right.
That's when you have kids, Candice.
Yeah.
What are you doing? I got a lot of that.
Yeah.
And then I got a lot of, oh, well, you're 35, you didn't want kids, right?
But those are the same people that you have to hold their hand through.
We do, Jimmy.
Every
We have to
fucking
hold
thing.
their hand.
I know. Yeah.
It's tough. And it's tough to stand in your shoes over and over and over and say at the family, listen, I love my family.
Yep.
But I have to say at the family holidays, yes, I'm still performing. Yes, I'm still trying to get pregnant. Like you have to say over. Like, yes, it's not a hobby, right? Because it's not the norm.
Yes.
We are not the norm, and it scares people.
Right.
And that's okay.
I don't know if it scares people. I think it triggers something inside of people. Because what I've realized is oftentimes when you aren't afraid to make the pivot or do the thing that maybe everyone and their mom's not doing, you go do it and you attack it. And then you get on the other side and they see you over there.
Yeah.
And it's like,
how did you do that?
How did she do that? Right. But also like, why not me? That's what that other person, so it triggers something inside of people who aren't listening to themselves and they're listening to everyone but themselves.
Yeah. And it takes a lot of courage to listen to yourself.
Oh yeah.
Because it's so noisy.
Right.
Oh my God. I turned off my phone right before we started and I saw 3 things. I was like, oh, I'll deal with that.
Right.
Like, I have to mentally put that somewhere else right now because that was a lot. Right. So I think, thank God I'm not a teenager growing up in this moment.
Yeah.
Because I think that's really tough to grow up with social media
Yeah.
and all that stuff right now.
Right.
But even as adults, we're literally like, okay, I see that thing's happening or this, I'm going to call it poppin' because someone once said to me, you're poppin'. I'm like, okay.
What's a poppin'?
Poppin'? What's a poppin'? Poppin'. You're poppin'. Someone said to me, you're finally poppin'. And I was like, oh, like I'm coming to light. People are recognizing what I do.
Okay.
I'm like, well, I've been doing it for a really long time.
Right.
But I get it. I'm more out there now than I've ever have been.
Yes.
So that's their version of like, you know.
Okay.
That made me laugh.
I'm glad that they've decided that for you, right?
I also had someone compliment me, but it wasn't necessarily a compliment.
Don't you love those too?
Yeah. Someone said to me.
I always say, what is your intention behind that?
Oh, give me your one-liners before we leave. Someone said to me the other day and it made me giggle. She said, I love that for you.
For you. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah.
And I thought.
Was it followed by a little
little bit. And I was like, wait, my reaction is always like, oh my God, thank you. And then I was like, oh, I feel like that wasn't supposed to be a compliment.
Right.
And then I realized, oh, you don't like that for you,
right? But
it's okay for me. And I had to really analyze that. So there are those people, but then there's also the wonderful ones that are literally like, oh my God, I love what you're doing or I love you. And then I'm like, please let me support you. Tag me in all the things.
Right.
Because I'm really bad at keeping up. Tag me so I can share and share. I love that. I mean, I literally am like, I don't care about anything else except I want someone to sit in a chair and be like, shit, I did the thing I wanted to do.
Right.
I literally don't care if it's making dog coats, which by the way, I always wanted to do. Really? Coats for little dogs. Oh my God. I want Cannoli to have, he needs coats every minute.
Oh my God.
He needs coats more than my son needs coats.
Yeah, because he shakes.
Yes. The Thunder Vests are not doing it.
Right.
So Cannoli needs love. I would love to make Cannoli a whole line of coats. So like, I don't care whatever you want to do, just as long as it's what you want to do. And you feel like you're giving back to the world in some way.
But that's the thing is you've got that security in yourself to know that like, there's no, it's like your success. I always say this, your success is my success. Yeah. So when I see you hit, I'm like, if you hit it, I'm like, oh, we hit it. Like, this is amazing.
Feel like that.
Yeah.
I really do. I also feel like too, this is just a selfish thing. I'm very much like, we went to school together.
Right.
That's a great thing.
Right.
Like my friend Sarah the other day, we were talking about like all the people that we grew up with and like went to school with. And I was telling her all the fabulous people like you and all the other people we went to school with and like what they're accomplishing. And she was like, your class was awesome. I'm like, damn right they were. I'm like, look what my class has done.
But those
I
are
literally
people,
got so excited.
Yes, because who else would I want in my orbit?
I know.
Right?
That's right. Like because we knew each other when we didn't know what we were doing.
Right, but we all had this vision.
Yes.
And then also just the guts to just even as kids, we were just
special.
Kids. Get on stage.
Totally. My mom always says this thing about, you know, when she saw all of us perform at Wagner those first couple of years, she was just like, all those kids you were with, she's like, all those kids are just so special. She would always say that. And I'm like, you know what, Mom? To her, we were because we were all doing the thing we set out to do.
Right.
Who follows a dream that they have at 3 years old? Yeah. Not many people do. Things happen, or maybe they fall out of love with things and things get sidetracked, but we all sort of stayed in a world in which we're doing something that we love.
Well, I think there's something, there was something magical about that group of people because they did all go off and do their own thing.
Forget it.
But I think one thing that we share that not everyone has is empathy.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes a good actor.
Yeah.
That's what makes a good journalist.
Yes.
That is what makes a good performer. I mean, you're literally able to connect with all of your characters. Yeah. I'll connect with the story, with people. Like you can't tell a story because broadcast is the same thing as theater.
100%.
It's storytelling.
That's right.
I'm just doing it as myself.
That's
and
right.
I'm not pretending to be I'm not taking on this role.
That's right.
But you still have to understand
100%
the emotion. And I think the people that we went to school with, I just did a podcast with Jacob Thompson. I mean,
so great.
Each person that I've revisited, and I'm like, they've all done these incredible things.
And it makes sense.
But it makes sense. Like, we're emotional IQ.
I know.
But that's what we shared as such young individuals.
Yes.
And it's like we've each honed that emotional, like in a way where it's like it turned into this thing and it became a career and a life path.
Yeah.
And I think that was what was magical. I think that's what your mom was talking about.
She's right and you're right. And I think that it's hard today to do that for kids. I don't know what they're like in their, 19s and 20s and 18s. Right. And I think it's different. We didn't grow up with the social media in our face.
Right.
But I do think there's so much positive about it. Like you said, it's also connected all of us again in some way.
Right.
I'm also like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in 20 years. How are you? Like I literally, I'm like, this is great.
Right.
You know? So I do think there's a lot of that, which I'll take. I'll take because I want to know. I want to know everyone's story. I'm like, tell me your story.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm a journalist by any means, but I'm definitely like a listener that's like, yes, I'm like, tell me your story.
And to be a good storyteller, it's not to be a good talking head. You have to be a good listener. People always ask me that about like if they want to get in news or their kids want to get in news. Yeah. And they're like, I'm like, okay, of course you have to be a good writer, right? But we all have that in common as well. We're all writers. Right. And it's not about just being able to talk and ad lib. You have to be able to listen. Yeah. Because if you're not listening,
so
there's no connection. You've lost all connection. You're literally operating in a vacuum.
That's right. Yeah. And I will say, going to the listening aspect of it all, my personal relationship, when we aren't listening to each other, we're fighting. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, it's because we're not listening. Right. Hi. Hello. You know, when we have to come back down to, you know, reality and listen. And when you're listening, you are able to hear what that person is actually trying to say. Yeah. Versus the screaming and the whatever and then the ego and everything that's wrapped into that. Yeah. So yeah, I think it goes more beyond just our careers. It's like our personal lives too.
Well, for everyone who's listening, where can they find out more about you?
Oh my God, you can find out more about me all over. Just kidding. My website, I'm CandiceGuardino.com. You can find me on Instagram. I have a Substack, Candice Confessions. I have ticket sales on tour dates, all on the website. You can find everything there.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. This has been so much fun. I can't wait to see what's next.